So back in 2020, Bob Dylan releases this song, False Prophet. And man, it is this gritty, bluesy, totally captivating puzzle. You've got this narrator who's building himself up as this incredibly powerful figure, but the whole thing is just packed with contradictions. So today, let's dive in. We're going to pull this persona apart, lyric by lyric, and see what it has to say about our very strange modern world of self-appointed prophets. Right off the bat, the first line puts the narrator on the defense. I ain't no false prophet. I mean, it's such a strong denial, but it immediately makes you wonder, why does he even need to say that? Who's he trying to convince here? Is it us, or is it himself? It really says something about the times we're living in, doesn't it? When someone claiming to speak the truth has to start by insisting they're not a fake. All right, so to figure that out, we've got to get inside this guy's head. Let's start by looking at his own arguments. What's the evidence he gives to back up this claim of being a true prophet? Let's see how he builds his case. And his first piece of proof is, well, it's fascinating. It's not about seeing the future or talking to God. It's just a feeling in his gut. I just know what I know, you know? It's this claim to some kind of deep, unshakable, intuitive truth. And this kind of self-assured certainty, completely detached from facts, well, it's become the calling card for a certain type of leader today, right? Someone who builds their power not on evidence, but just by declaring something to be true. But see, it's not just about what he knows internally. Oh, no. The narrator uses that as a launch pad to create this larger-than-life, almost mythical personality of absolute authority. And, as we're about to see, this is where you can really start to see some startling parallels to figures in our own world. I mean, listen to this. This is just a masterclass in building your own myth. He starts with something that sounds kind of humble, first among equals, but then he immediately yanks the rug out from under you with second to none. He's not just saying he's the best, he's saying he's the only one who even counts. Everyone else, you can bury him. This isn't just confidence, you guys. This is a claim of absolute, undeniable dominance.
And then bam, he throws down the gauntlet directly at the political powers that be. You rule the land, but so do I. It's a straight-up challenge to any president, any prime minister, any king. He's saying your power is temporary, but mine is on another level. It's a classic move we've seen from charismatic figures throughout all of history. And yeah, in our own time too.
Okay, so he's got the knowledge, he's got the status, but what's it all for? What's his mission? See, every good prophet needs an enemy to fight against, and our narrator here is no different. But notice who his enemies are. This is really clever. He's not fighting against other people. He's fighting against big, abstract evils. Treason, strife, meaninglessness. By setting himself up as a warrior against these things that we all agree are bad, he kind of lifts himself above the messy day-to-day arguments and becomes this champion for a higher purpose. But just when you think you've got this guy figured out, the cracks in the facade start to appear. This towering, righteous figure, he's also full of contradictions. And this is where the myth he's built for himself starts to get really interesting. He sings songs of love, and he sings songs of betrayal. So which is he? The hero or the villain? The romantic or the cynic? He's telling you he's both. It's not just about being a versatile artist. He's claiming to be bigger than our simple labels of good and evil. He's a walking contradiction, and he absolutely revels in it. And here's another one. He's the leader, first among equals, but he's also completely alone, going where only the lonely can go. It's that classic paradox of power, isn't it? The idea that the higher you climb, the more isolated you get. It's a very handy story to tell, framing that loneliness not as a personal failing, but as a sign of true greatness. Now we get his second justification, and it's all about the untouchable power of his own words. I just said what I said. Think about that for a second. That's a complete refusal to be held accountable for anything. His truth isn't something you can fact-check or debate. His truth is whatever he says it is, in any given moment. A tactic we've seen weaponized again and again in our own political landscape. And this is where it gets pretty dark. Just in case you thought his I said what I said attitude was harmless, he follows it up with this. His words aren't just for sharing wisdom. They are a weapon. And he's here for vengeance. This isn't some wise sage speaking truth to power anymore. This sounds a lot more like a dangerous leader promising payback. So in the song's final stretch, the narrator just kind of sheds his human skin. He moves beyond all the contradictions and enters this realm of pure myth. At this point, he becomes totally impossible to define, impossible to hold on to. He knows he's a relic, a ghost from another time, and he basically dares us to judge him by how he looks. It's a classic move, right? He's telling us what you see on the surface, that's not the real me. The real me is hidden, unknowable, and that makes me even more powerful. And this line, this might just be his ultimate statement of purpose. I'm nobody's bride. He cannot be bought, he cannot be owned, he cannot be pinned down by any one group or ideology, he doesn't belong to anyone or anything. It's the final, and maybe the most powerful, piece of the myth he's been building all along. And for the final mic drop, he just completely erases his own life story. He becomes this timeless, elemental force. He wasn't born, he won't die, he just is. It is the ultimate act of self-creation, the final word from a man who may or may not be a prophet, but is definitely the master of his own legend. So what are we supposed to do with that? A prophet who exists outside of time itself? Is this the ultimate power move from an artist, a claim to some timeless, universal truth? Or is it the ultimate con job, a perfect way to escape any kind of real-world accountability? In an age full of self-proclaimed saviors and so-called alternative facts, Dylan's false prophet isn't just asking us to question him. It's asking us to take a hard look around and question the very nature of truth and authority in our own world.